Here, I'll confirm it. Hella basketball. This is a cute little photo.
Hi everyone, excuse me.
You can bring it forward.
I'd like to introduce you to Mr. Jim Skeffington, who wants to bring the ballpark here. He's here to tell us about it and to answer all our questions.
Hi everybody, I'm Jim Skeffington, and I'm happy to have this opportunity to talk about a subject that's dear to my heart, which is new ballpark in downtown Providence. And I thought I'd come here and have a conversation with you today and tell you about what we're hoping to see happen in Providence, and answer you. I thank you for taking the time this beautiful night to come here and listen to me. We have brought with us some renderings. I don't know if you've seen them in the newspapers occasionally, but this is, let me see the picture over here. This particular rendering is where it would, is a view of the ballpark. And does anyone know where this is going to be, by the way? It's on Dyer Street, right across from, thank you, my friend, right across from the Brown Medical School. And it's right on the Providence River. And it's a unique location. Our consultants told us, who have done 40 ballparks around the country, that in their view this is the best site for a ballpark they've seen. And that's because, not just because it's on the river, which is cool, but because it is so near public transportation. The train station is only an 11-minute walk from the site. And the Gary complex, the Gary courthouse, is in back of that there's a piece of land that the state is going to construct a 1,200 car garage and make it into a modal facility with buses from all over the state that will drive right by the front door. So if you're living in Woonsocket or Central Falls or Portsmouth or Middletown or Westerly or West Warwick, you'll have bus transportation going to and from the stadium before a game and after the game. They'll stop right by the front door, so it's a pretty easy place to get to. In addition to that, there are thousands of people who live and work within, a 20-minute walk of that site. And most importantly, we hope this is a site where we can employ a lot of people who live in this area. Because, frankly, part of the great things about putting a ballpark in an urban center is that not only are you near fans, but you have a lot of opportunities to provide employment to people. We employ about 300 people a year during our season, and our season will run from early April all the way through to about Christmas. And it's going to be a pretty exciting place because we're not just building a ballpark. We're building a community facility because we're going to have more than baseball games. The Kentucky Red Sox obviously will be their home, and they're the only AAA baseball franchise we have in all of New England, and we're fortunate enough to have them in Rhode Island, and we want to keep them here. That's my pledge. I'm born and raised here. I want to keep it in my state, in our state, and so that's important to me personally. But it's also important because of the benefits that it brings, not just to the state, but particularly to the community. I have a particular interest in children's charities, and I've worked with the Red Sox now for 14 years, and I've seen what they've done with their ballpark in Fenway Park, and all they do for charities in the community. It is a terrific, come on in, my friends. You're not missing a thing. Good to see you. I have a personal interest in seeing children's charities like Boys and Girls Clubs, CYOs, schools. We have special programs at Fenway Park for schools. So, I think it'd be a wonderful new resource, a platform to bring help to the community, bring employment and bring opportunities for kids, and to talk about their future and hopefully have fun in the process. Watch a ball game or a football game. We hope to have 72 baseball games there from April. Our season ends, unlike Major League Baseball, it ends on Labor Day. We might have, if we're lucky, a playoff game or two there. But by the 10th or 12th of September, there's no more baseball there, but we hope to have football, college football and high school football played in the ballpark. And that will be a lot of excitement for us, and that will go right through Thanksgiving. So Brown University, for example, has told us that if we're able to build this ballpark, they will play all their college games, which are now played at Elm Grove Avenue. They'll move them downtown, because they think they can get more people to the games. And talking to the University of Rhode Island, they're considering doing the same thing, because they need to build a new football field in Kingston, and that's going to cost the state a lot of money. It's 20 to 30 million for a ballpark. But we have room here, and we'd love to have them play here, and I think they'd attract more fans here. But the important thing is that we'll have other things too. We're going to have concerts. We're going to do what Family Park does. They're going to have like 6 to 8 nights of concerts in the course of a summer or fall. We hope to do the same thing. Those concerts, we think, will attract about 10,000 to 12,000 people. And that's more opportunity for employment, more economic activity, more fun for the family. In the winters, every other winter, we hope to put an ice skating rink in the middle of it and have a college hockey tournament, just like we do in Boston every other year. And Brown University and Providence College, which just won the national championship in hockey, and that's a great thing for a school, because that's a small school. They play some pretty big schools, and they won the national championship, which is really cool. They're going to be, they said they'd like to play outdoor hockey there and have a host with Brown a college hockey tournament for a weekend. And then we're going to have some cultural events there, some festivals, some family festivals, cultural festivals. We want to make it a community facility, vibrant and active, 12 months a year. And probably in 9 of those months we'll have actual games of some sort played in the ballpark. The employment aspect of it's kind of cool, because we roughly employ 300 to 400 people in the course of a season. But now we only employ them from April to September, 1st of September essentially, Labor Day. But with this park we'll be doing it 9 months a year as opposed to just like 4 or 5. And I think it's going to be an exciting new place that will liven up downtown, and I think it'll help the state sell the land next door, the 195, because we have been in discussions with some developers who like our ballpark a lot, and they think that would help bring their employees to Rhode Island. They come to Rhode Island, and we've had a very tough, economic climate here for a few years. We're virtually the highest unemployment in the country. Not a lot of job opportunities. We think the 195 land is very important to develop that, so that we can see more jobs, more economic activity. But our ballpark's going to help sell those jobs, sell those properties, but also provide us with an opportunity to employ people. And so we're pretty excited about that aspect of it. I'll just show you some of the pictures. This is the baseball field. By the way, this right field is pretty short. It's about 301 feet on the line, about 345 feet in dead right field. If you hit a home run in this ballpark, the ball will splash in the Providence River, which is kind of a fun thing to see. In Fenway Park, it's just the opposite. We have a short left field fence in Fenway Park, 315 feet to dead left. This will be 301 down the line, about 340 in dead right. Our bullpen's over on this side here. How many have been to Pawtucket, Red Sox games in Pawtucket? So you know the green berm they have out in left field for families? By the way, 50% of the people who come to our ball games are from Massachusetts. And hopefully they'll come by train. They won't be taking their cars, but many of them will anyway. But 70% of the people who come to our games are families. The kids love the games, the parents like to take them to the games, and the idea is to keep them affordable and fun. And people say to me, well, if you're going to move downtown, you're going to have very expensive tickets. The answer to that is no. Yes, well, there'll be some expensive tickets, but we're keeping, Ben Mondo, who owned the Poor Sox, kept the tickets so we have some of the lowest ticket prices in all of minor league baseball. AAA baseball being one step below the majors. Our ticket prices now are $6, $9, and $13. Roughly they should be the same when we open up that ballpark. Now there'll be some higher price seats because there'll be some corporate suites up there. But to me, it isn't about corporate suites. It's about making it affordable for families to come to the game. And I think Ben Mondo was a genius, and I think he was big-hearted, and we want to do the same thing. We want to try to keep this a family-friendly atmosphere, whether it's for football, or whether it's for baseball, or whether it's for hockey, or whether it's for concerts. And we think it can be a great opportunity for people to get together and have fun as a family in downtown Providence. I think it'll liven up downtown Providence. I think it'll create a lot of jobs, because I suspect not only in our ballpark, but there'll be restaurants, and there'll be other bars and things that open up, shops right around the ballpark, because that's what happens when you build a ballpark in a community. People come down, when you bring that many, we hope to bring 1 million people a year to the ballpark. So when you have that kind of activity, people are gonna wanna put stores there, bars there, restaurants there, and we wanna make, a contribution to the community, and I think that will help create even more employment than we're creating. This green berm is the family area. It's, if you've been to Pawtucket, it's about almost 4 times larger in the green space in left field than they have in there, so it's more room for families. But the interesting part about this, if we can, by the way, this is a football field. We can configure it for football as well. If you look, that's not.
This is the one I like.
This is the one I like too. Behind this green berm, we're gonna have a kids' corner. And we're building we want to build a miniature baseball field with fences for wiffle ball. So families, kids can go down and play wiffle ball, you can get a home run over there. If I'm pitching a kid, everybody gets over to the video, but it'd be great for families to go out and have kids go out and have fun playing wiffle ball. And this is a great, this is going to be a replica of a lighthouse, which is also shown over here. It's a symbol of we're by the water, we're an ocean state, and we're going to create a suite up here for people, mostly corporate clients, and they'll probably bring 20 or 30 people there. It'll be a great place to watch a game, similar to the Fenway Park, the Fenway Park, the seatbelt in the field, and for football and contests. And all the monies we get from those, my plan is all the monies we get from those suites go into the charitable foundation for the club, so we can give more back to the community. That'll just be a small part of our charitable efforts, because I'm absolutely committed to building, with the Red Sox as my partner, building a very lively, thriving, active charitable foundation to help our neighborhoods, which I think is very important, particularly kids. I love, there's a whole bunch of stuff we have planned to help kids out in that regard. This is across the street, by the way, where these buildings aren't there, but that's an artist's conception of what they would look like. This is from the South Plaza, and it's looking across the street if you were down here, looking this way, and you can see the plaza. That's one of our front entrances. We'll have an entrance over here by the walk coming across the river, and we'll have one over here in the corner in left field for the people walking from the city. I think this, one thing we just came up with the other day is we're going to put a cafe over here, right as people come over the bridge, with some umbrellas and chairs and so forth. And we're thinking about if we have to obviously get a cooler for all these things, but we'd like to see a microbrewery there too throughout the ballpark, because we go to other ballparks and see what's been successful, and microbreweries are a big success in those ballparks. We want to try to bring that to our own ballpark. And it'll be a cafe that also serves, soft drinks and light food, hot dogs, hamburgers, and so forth, and keep it open most of the year, as long as the weather allows. And then the other interesting part about this is that when you play football in this area, it's going to be just a lot of interesting college games from the Brown and URI, hopefully. Bryant University said they want to come down and play 1 or 2 games there as well. But I also like to make it a venue for high school championships, so that they can, all the various levels of football in high school in Rhode Island could have their championship games here. Some would be at night and some would be in the daytime. In fact, we envision every weekend from mid-September to Thanksgiving, virtually every weekend there'll be at least 1 college game there and maybe a high school game. And that's going to bring a lot of fans, and I think it's great. I think it's cool. And I'm hoping that it'll have a big impact on the community. And I guess that's you saw the kids' corner. So we're in the process of having discussions with the governor and the state leaders. We've had some conversation with the senior leaders as well. We've met with the mayor, met with the city council president, and they designated their economic development director to have further conversations with us. I just met with them, I think it was the day before yesterday, and I talked to him late this afternoon. So as we continue our dialogue, we rolled out a program for this, it must be 8 weeks ago or so, or 6 weeks ago, and obviously it's been working, and so we worked with the government, say let's try to meet and come up with another plan, find common ground and get it done, because we don't want to see, I personally don't want to see, you know, our team leave Rhode Island. It's part of my, I love Rhode Island, I was born here, raised my kids here, I worked here for 40 years or so in the law, and I happen to love my state and I want to make a contribution back to it, and some of my partners do it the same way. I have a total of 10 partners, we all contribute the same amount of money, and 5 of them are from Boston and 5 of them are from Providence. So my friends at Boston are saying, well, we'll give Providence a shot, and let's hope it works, and if it doesn't, we'll have to go to Plan B, which is looking at other places. But I don't want that to happen. I really want it to be in Providence, because I think it's great for the community, I think it's great employment opportunities, great charitable opportunities, fun opportunities for families, baseball, football, soccer, play some soccer games there as well. So anyhow, I've sort of given you an overview. I'd be very happy to answer any questions that you have, and start with this gentleman back there. Turn the conversation.
Talk about what you're expecting the state and the city to give you to build this stadium. I'm looking at $2.4 million in annual tax revenue. At that rate, based on what you asked for, it would take the state 100 years to get to start showing the profit.
Yeah, well, that was the proposal that's no longer on the table. We're renegotiating that. But I would tell you the 2.4 million is still, that's an estimate.
What are you looking for from the taxpayers of Rhode Island
Sure.
and and Providence?
Sure, well, that's the current topic of our discussion with the governor and with the city. And the governor's asked us not to disclose our details of the negotiation as she contemplates her ideas. And so I wish I could tell you more. We're very near the end. I think it'll be very near before all of us will reach a conclusion, hopefully a positive one. But we'll reach a conclusion, and as soon as we reach that conclusion, we'll share it with everybody. Because there's going to have to be the subject of hearings at the state and the city. Sorry?
It's going to be too late at that point, right?
No, I think it'll, well, who knows it'll be too late, but I don't think it will be.
Too late for public input.
No, it's not going to be done overnight, it's going to be done over weeks. There'll be plenty of opportunity for public input, but I'm sure there'll be hearings in the city, I'm sure there'll be hearings at the State House. I'll be going around and talking to a lot of different people, trying to answer as many questions as I can, have a conversation like we're having tonight. Unfortunately, because of the confidentiality agreement that the governor's asked us to pledge to, I just can't go into the details. But when it comes out, it's markedly different from the one this gentleman just cited. It's markedly different, and we think it's very promising. But, you know, again, we're seeking common ground.
Was it about any taxpayer money, or is it all you're putting?
I can tell you it's 100% privately funded, that's number one. We're taking the risk. But there will be some public support. There are 160 minor league teams in baseball. 160 of them, and there's 30 Major League Baseball. Every one of them has public support. In fact, let me just finish. A lot.
In Pawtucket.
A lot.
How much?
Well, I'll tell you how much. Our lease is $32,000, and we pay no taxes. I'll tell you the average lease of AAA ballpark, official league back then, there are 30 AAA teams in America. Major League Baseball requires you to have one AAA team, one AA team, and as many single A teams as you want. The AAA team is the top of the minor leagues. It's one step below, as we have in Kentucky. 27 of those 30 teams play in government-owned buildings, built with bonds and notes of the government, the taxpayers' money. 100%. The other 3 are heavily subsidized through grants and aid from the, usually it's cities, not, we have a city-state in Rhode Island, that's where we're talking the state. Most of those have bigger places, but and they have cities that do it. 27 out of 30 are 100% publicly owned. The average lease payment of all AAA teams, all 30 of them, is about $675,000 a year. We pay $34,000. That's in that average, by the way. $34,000 in Kentucky. I think maybe next year goes up $2,000 a year.
And who owns that?
The city of Pawtucket owns the land and the building. The state is our landlord because they took it over from the city because the city needed some help in financing. Yes.
I have 3 questions
Yes.
for you.
Sure.
My first question is, will you actively incorporate people from this area, this neighborhood, in your planning phase and committee? And when would you do that?
We are talking about, this is part of our discussions, generally, I'm not sure, I can talk, I'll answer that right now. It is also part of the discussions we're having with the state and the city. But I will tell you that we will be giving preference, they've asked us to give preference to Providence employees, or our new employees. We employ a lot of people in Kentucky now too. If we move here, we will give the people that currently work for us an opportunity to work in Providence. Many of them won't come. Well, I don't know if they want, they can't come if they want, but I don't want to put people who've been working for us out of business, out of a job. So, but some of them will come down, I'm sure, probably some won't. But we have a turnover, because most of our jobs, most of our jobs are teenagers or young high school and young college kids who work in the concession stands, and they do some groundskeeping work with us, and they do some security work with us, they do some parking work with us, and they work in other parts of the building, public relations, and help work corporate events and so forth. So we will pledge to give preference to Providence employees. I haven't talked about any particular neighborhood, but Providence employees. And we would do that from the first day we opened our doors.
All right, so Mount Hope is not really, at this moment, we're not exclusively promised any particular part or percentage of jobs?
No, that hasn't been discussed.
Okay.
We're early on yet, but I will say this to you. We haven't talked about any particular neighborhood, just residents of Providence. Okay. And I would envision this neighborhood and many other neighborhoods, the Fox Point area, the South Providence area. I'm sure there'll be a lot of kids. I mean, the fact of the matter is, I hear people say all the time that well, these aren't the kind of corporate jobs that we're talking about. Moving the team from Kentucky there, and I say, well, yes, they are, because the land we're building on was intended to be a park, and frankly, it was not supposed to be taxed. And it was supposed to be for passive recreation. And we're suggesting that it be a park, or a ballpark, active, employing people, and we have asked for no taxes on the building, because 27 of our 30 competitors pay no taxes on their buildings, but they're government owned. But that's why there's part of this, I can't get into the details, part of the proposal will address that. Okay. But a lot of our kids, when they say to me, well, they're not the high paying jobs. Well, with all due respect to everybody, every job's important. And kids need jobs, and people need jobs. And just because they're not engineers or doctors or something, that doesn't mean that we should look differently at those jobs. Every job's important. The income of those people who are working for us today in Pawtucket, that's helpful to them, their families. It helps them in their life, and that's what we're trying to do.
Okay.
So,
well, getting back to my first question, how will you incorporate anyone from this neighborhood in your planning phase, which you're in now, your planning phase and committees? Do you have plans going forward to incorporate any of us in your planning committee?
I would say, first of all, we haven't got a deal yet to the state, so I can't say I'm doing a lot of planning along those lines. But I will commit to you that we'd be happy to get a committee, you can form a committee, we'd be happy to work with them to help bring people from your neighborhood to work with us down there. Happy to do it. And by the way, also have some recreational opportunities down there too. I mean, let's play some ball in the yard. Let's go in the kids' yard and have some fun. We want to make a family-friendly atmosphere. And so Sid McKenna's with me here. You call her, assuming we find common ground, make a deal. You call her, and we'll arrange for that kind of committee to be formed. I'm committed to that.
Okay, and I had just one more question.
You can ask as many as you want.
Well, I only had 3, but...
And let me just say one thing. Mr. Skeffington asked to come to Mount Hope. He wants to come in here and be with the community.
Obviously.
I want a conversation.
Now, the charitable donations, going forward, has your organization decided what type of charitable donations they make, and do you have a specific plan in incorporating, of course, Mount Hope community within that?
Well, let me say this, Mount Hope community will be considered in that.
Okay.
Just like South Providence, just like Fox Point. This is, I'm trying, and by the way, and also out of the city of Providence too, because there'll be other schools, other charities. San Miguel Schools work with like a lot, for example. That's over in Providence though. Okay. But actually, the Pawtucket Red Sox, before we bought them, they were a big donor to San Miguel School. Our foundation is a continuation of the one that the Pawtucket Red Sox had. We hope to grow it beyond what they did. With the new ballpark, we'll have more revenues. We'll be very active in holding charitable events there to generate money, and that money will go into our charity. And that charity we want to give out, as I told you before, my bias is children's charities. My bias is helping kids. And I have the same bias, frankly, in people who work for us. I want enthusiastic, dedicated, energetic, committed people who say, I want to be on the team. And we want you on the team. And we can do it together. I can't do it alone, you can't do it alone, the governor can't do it alone, the mayor can't do it alone, General Assembly can't do it alone. Working together, we can do a lot of things.
Jim, this lady on the red is next to you.
How are you? I had a few questions, but
Please.
since you can't break down the taxes
Yeah.
for me, I'm gonna move on to the next.
Sure.
Your location, my concern is, it's right next to India Point Park, where it's
Actually,
a few minutes.
No.
It's up a little ways, but
No, it's not.
it's on the waterfront.
Yes, waterfront, but not, I don't have a map here, but it's not, it's way down, it's across the river, and India Park is to our east, pretty far away, actually. But yeah, let's say 10 o'clock.
So, but my concern is with parking,
Yes.
okay, and the events that already happened there for the community down at India Point Park. Is there gonna be a disruption in
Sure.
the groups that try to get that park now? Because now, obviously, it's not that expensive, but once you have that big ballpark there,
Yeah.
it's gonna be a little harder for them to get licenses and to hold their events down there. And
Licenses
like,
what?
to rent the park, to India Point
Oh,
Park.
right.
Like every year we have.
Is that a city park? Or a state park? I don't know.
State. I think it's
City
city.
park.
City
City
park.
park. But we have events down there, but I'm sure that once it starts to build up down there,
Yeah.
there's one event that's personal for me,
What's that?
it's the Cape Verdean
Right.
Festival that they
Right.
have there every year.
Right. When is
Where, it's usually the July 5th, because that's when our independence was.
Right.
So, that's something that's happened every year.
Right.
But my thing is, will this park
Sorry, you want to say?
affect the different cultural
Yeah.
events that are down there that are affordable
In
and free?
India Point Park.
Right.
Yeah, I will tell you that, I invite you down there to take a look. It's really not that close to India Park. And so I don't think there'll be any conflict between our operations and India Park. But look, judge it for yourself, take a look at it. But in terms of, you asked a couple of things. The other festival you're talking about, now, that's in the middle of our baseball season, so we'll probably have some baseball scheduling issues there. But I would like to see cultural festivals on that water bridge that goes to the park, the one over here. And that big plaza we have there. That plaza's about a little less than half an acre, but it's a pretty good sized plaza. And the bridge, they originally planned to have festivals on the bridge. But I would even like to have some festivals in the park itself. But we'll have to see how that plays out. But I'm interested in integrating this ballpark as part of our community. That everybody can say, man, I'm really happy you're down here. This is fun for a whole family. And I think you have some of the.
My other question is, as far as bringing jobs for students, now we have schools, we have art schools, and we also have like PCTA. How would you incorporate or create a partnership with that school to give jobs to students so
Sure.
that they can, most of our kids, they graduate from high school.
Yep.
And they leave the state because there's no opportunity. So how can you work to be an opportunity for
Sure.
the culinary arts students
Yeah,
that
let
are
me say
there at
this to you.
PCTA?
Because I've got two kids who don't want to live here because they do your job, so and a lot of others do too. Let me just say that I'll be happy to make sure that Sid McKenna and you get contact. I'm all for inclusion. I'm all for bringing the ballpark to your neighborhood, or you have your neighbors come to our ballpark. So I'm big on employment. There can be, as I say, 300 plus jobs a year. And there are a variety of jobs. A lot of them are concession stands, a lot of ticket takers, a lot of ushers and so forth. We have a fair amount of turnover in our employment, like about 30% a year. And that's because they're usually the young people who are in school, they've moved away, or they're in college and they move out of town. And we have about 30% have been there for many years. They probably live in Kentucky. I don't know, I haven't checked on that, but and they're good, energetic, loyal employees, and we're going to give them jobs. but we have a fair amount of turnover, because kids, they don't take these jobs for 2 or 3 years, and then they go off to school and they get a job someplace else. But I want to create employment opportunity for primarily, preferentially for the city of Providence, because that would be our home city.
Okay, so I would like if training could go, if they can come in, if
Training for
the
job.
organization could come into the schools and help with training
Sure.
the students so that they can get the
You know,
job,
it's gonna
and that
be-
they're
yeah.
productive in
Yeah,
their
you know what we want to do too, I didn't mention this, 2 things I should mention. One was, we want to have clinics down there, for baseball clinics, with our players, teaching kids how to play ball. And we do it in Pawtucket now, about 3 times a year. In fact, one of them is this Saturday. But I'd like to have some clinics down there with our ball, and I think we could draw tons of kids, many more kids in the stadium downtown, ball by downtown, than we do in Pawtucket for those clinics. I'll bet we have triple the number of kids want to be down there to play. And our players, our professional players, will help them how to play first base, what are the secrets of catching, how do you pitch, how do you hit. So we're going to have a lot of fun with kids down there. It's a passion of mine, so. You finish?
That's it, thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Hi, sort of multi-part question. My name is Tim.
Tim? Yep.
So you said that it would cost $65 million to renovate McCoy to bring it to whatever standards you I haven't been clear about that. What happens if the people of Providence and the state of Rhode Island reject your attempt to put a stadium downtown in Providence where you want to put it?
Right.
Where will you go? What will be your plan B?
Well,
And
we have not.
And be specific about what your next steps would be.
Well, what's your first name, Tim? Tim, A, we don't have a plan B, because I'm focused on plan A. I believe in it. I think our new proposal, when it comes out, will be markedly different and hopefully more warmly embraced. So I don't have a plan B. I will tell you this, since we've started this process, the media has reported, obviously, we bought the team, and they're reading about opposition. I see your stadium, it must be a group or something, but I'm assuming that they're saying that too. And they're saying, listen, count out this plan B. And I will say this to you, they made some nice overtures to this. And they've asked to meet with me. And they've given me some suggestions about proposals that I can make. I have talked to them. I have not met with them. I have not talked to them about any specifics of their proposal, because I'm committed to try to keep it here. Now, and so
Are you saying that either New Bedford or Worcester would be better than Pawtucket?
No, what I'm saying to you is, I'm not going to get into Plan B until Plan A is clear, it won't work. And right now, it's still alive. We're having constructive discussions with the state and with the city, and I'm hoping that we get a chance to do Plan A. Now, if and when the Plan A is unfeasible or impossible, then we'll address Plan B. And since I have not engaged in any discussions with those 4 communities that approached us, I have no idea what our timetable will be or what we'll look at. And I know someone else said, would you consider Pawtucket? Yeah, and I said to them, we're going to put all our money into it. It's privately funded, the loan and the equity. It's $65 million. We had Populous, which is the #1 architectural firm in the country for sports facilities. They build more ballparks, more stadiums, more football fields than any firm in the country. And before we bought the team, we had to go through McCoy and do a complete assessment of its current condition. And it is the oldest ball field. The oldest ball field that we have in the International League is in Pawtucket, 72 years old.
But
We had
Fenway is the oldest stadium in
Yeah,
national.
I'm talking minor league baseball. The oldest stadium in our league, I think is, I'm not sure about the 162 teams. I only consider about AAA. There are 30 AAA stadiums. This is by far the oldest stadium. Everybody else, in fact, most of them have new stadiums in the last 15 years. Virtually all of them have been
sold. Is age a problem?
May I finish?
Is age a problem?
Team, may I finish? we believe that Pawtucket has serious structural problems and does not contain the number of amenities for our players or our fans. And so we asked for their cost assessment of what it would take. They came up with an assessment of $65 million. That's before the Red Sox looked at it and said, well, we want something in addition to that. Because the Red Sox, as you know, is a top-notch team, great ownership, and they want to add more features to that, like, for example, wider and more elaborate training facilities inside for the players, including hydrotherapy, for example, for injuries. That wasn't included in the other proposals. We like the fans to be closer to the action. It didn't include, you know, if you've been to Pawtucket, there's a lot of foul territory there because the field is set back. But that was designed, you know, it wasn't designed just for baseball, it was also designed for racing. And the first row is 12 feet above the ground. We like ballparks, urban ballparks, and we like them, the stands all the way down to the grass. So that the kids and the families can go and get autographs, talk to the players, take pictures with them, get close to the action, intimate, like Fenway Park. Where, you know, Fenway Park is a gem. And it's not only the oldest ballpark in the major leagues, but it is the fans' favorite because you're closer to the action here. You're closer to home plate in Fenway Park, between the dugouts, than any major league ball field. And we're going to try to do that in Providence. We want people to be close to the action. So that's part of the dream we have. I'm sorry, go ahead, Tim.
Just because I don't want to
Sure.
take any more time.
Sure.
So it seems to me like you're in a very weak position in terms of your negotiation vis-a-vis the state and the city, especially vis-a-vis the state, because you have no backup plan.
Well, I don't agree with you, Tim.
I'm puzzled why Governor Raimondo would even be negotiating with you and be willing to give you money if she thought you have no backup plan.
Well, I think, I don't think anybody believes you don't have a backup opportunity, not a plan. We have a lot of people, it's been in the press. You cited 3 cities that have been mentioned in the press. And there's another one that hasn't been mentioned.
Several have been checked off the list.
But, I'm sorry?
I think some of them have been checked off the list.
Who checked them off?
Well, based on the practicality of what they might offer.
No, we haven't checked off anybody.
No, I'm not saying you, but in terms of.
Well, in any event, we've got other people to talk to here.
Sure. No,
But
that's
let me just say to you, we don't have a plan B, and we'll have to wait and see what happens. And are we in a weak position? This isn't about strength and weakness to me. This is about trying to do something for our state, and I want to make a difference in the state, and I'm going to try. Yes, sir.
Yes, we started on the public involvement, and by that I mean taxes.
Right.
Okay. What I like you to express to us is the amount of money and how much time the public will be involved financially with your organization.
Sure.
Because now you tell us homeowners are going to be paying the taxes.
Sure.
Exactly what's going on.
Sure.
Okay? I'd like to know, what's the breakdown?
Well, I can't get into the details because
No, just give me a
But I will tell you this.
ballpark figure.
That's the problem, they're not allowing me to say what the ballpark figure is. You hit the nail on the head. All I can tell you is this, that there are 27 other teams in our league, AAA. They're all playing in government-owned facilities. The teams didn't put up any money at all. Our proposal is different. Our proposal will put all the money up front, and we're just asking for some support from the state and the city. But those are the subject of negotiations which the governor has asked us not to disclose, because we're going back and forth with ideas. And I respect that confidentiality, that's what she asked us, so we're going to do. So, but before long, believe me, it won't be long before those are going to come to an end. And then we're just going to disclose, all of us together, what the offer is, and we'll see what happens. It's a vision we have, and if people like it, and they like the terms of it, because it's much different from the other one, if they like the terms of it, great. And if they don't, well, then we tried our best. We tried the best. Oh, I'm sorry. You've been waiting patiently. I've been standing up here and I didn't see you, I'm sorry.
He's my board partner, go ahead, you go ahead, Eugene.
Will you yield to the lady?
And then I'm gonna go.
She'll yield to the lady.
Okay, now, I might be asking an ignorant question here.
No question's ignorant.
Okay, how does the process unfold about opposing or accepting the ballpark? Do the people vote? Do the Congress vote? How does?
Yeah, sure. What I envision is that we're trying to find common ground with the state that we can all agree on. And if we do, then a proposal will be made to the General Assembly. They'll hold hearings on it. The City Council, I'm sure, will hold hearings on it. So there'll be opportunity for public input at the State House and in the City Hall. I'll be going to meetings like this and talking, so there'll be input from there. Because I'm just trying to have a conversation. I just want to share my enthusiasm and my ideas. And not everybody's going to agree with them, obviously. But in any event, I see that unfolding. We'll see what happens. It depends on when we conclude the negotiations. We promised the governor we'd keep it, confidential with her until she finishes. She's got a consultant. I think the Speaker of the House and the Senate President have a consultant. So they're looking at the proposal, and I think they're waiting for their input, and we'll see what happens. Now, I would think this will take, I don't know, how long it's going to take, I don't really know. 3 weeks, 3 months, I couldn't tell you. It depends on how people at the State House and how people at City Hall feel, yeah, this is a good deal, we should go forward, or it needs more discussion. Now, I have no control over that.
Okay, I have 2 more questions in there, real quick. How long
take your
will
time.
this?
We got plenty of time.
If and when this happens, how long will it take to build the stadium?
It'll take about 16 months.
That's quick.
We're hoping to, if I had a magic wand, we get approval and we go forward. And if the General Assembly adjourns and they approve it, the City Council approves it, we'll start in December. We're going to try to open it in April of 2017. Now, whether we can meet that timetable, it's fairly aggressive, but I am aggressive. I'm running out of time myself. I got to build this thing before I go out of town.
I look healthier than the people my age, but go ahead.
No. Listen, I'll share with you right now. Yes, sir.
Oh, no, wait a minute, I have one more question. This is my final question. You talk about the entertainment side.
Yeah.
I know normally in Providence, we have all these wonderful things that go around town, but we are excluded. And when I say excluded, we have a lot of talent locally, but I don't find that a lot of the talent that we see around here, we don't see it sort of like Waterfire and things like that. So we're not included in those planning processes, like, fine, we have schools here. Yeah, the entertainment side.
Yeah.
Yeah, so how do we become a part of that planning so that we can, so you can garnish the people who are in the inner cities that would, if they see that you have things for them, you can have loyal fans and that base there. So how do we get to the table to see that some of our entertainers, I don't want to just say people, because here in the inner city actually can perform, and not just the mainstream people who perform in all these local things.
The concerts that I'm talking about that we do with family, they are big names.
Okay, so we're going to big names. Okay. I'm sorry. I thought you were trying to do
No. I'm trying to answer your question.
Okay, I'm sorry.
So those are the ones that fill Fenway Park. It's the Lionel Richie. It's who's the guy from New Jersey?
Bruce
Springsteen. Yeah.
Bruce.
And they draw a lot of people. But I hadn't really thought about local concerts, and that's something I would like to consider. And Sid McKenna here. You talk to her.
I will.
And by the way, if we're fortunate enough, because we're not there yet, but if we're fortunate enough, I'd entertain those kind of discussions.
Yeah, even if we just
By the way, even if we don't
open up.
Yeah, even if we don't. Let me tell you something. Even if we don't get 10,000 people, if we get 500 people for a concert, because they don't. If I was going to sing with you, you won't get 500 people. But maybe less. But I will tell you this. It's a good idea, and let's talk about it.
Okay.
And even that plaza idea on the water,
Yep.
that'd be kind of a cool place for some local concerts with local bands. I agree. On summer nights there, come on, that sounds a pretty good idea. You have a question?
I did have a question.
Wait a minute, hold on. I hate to do this.
No.
This man has been yielding.
Yeah.
Well,
Gentlemen speak, please.
will you yield to the gentleman?
No worries.
All right.
Well, I know that you are unable to give us details of the current proposal, but can you give us an example of something? I'm sure this is not the only scenario where as a private owner and they're looking for public funds. Whether it's another state, give us maybe a breakdown of something that you guys are using as a guide to kind of create this proposal. That maybe will give us a better idea of what we're talking about.
Let me say to you that we can't think of anyone that's doing has done what we're doing. we're trying to fund this 100% with our private money.
Bless you.
Bless you. Is that-
Thank you.
100% private money. We'll put the equity in that's necessary, and we'll borrow the money, and we'll be responsible for the debt. It's 100% privately owned. Now, we're gonna need some public support, like every single one of the 162 minor league teams that play baseball. You're gonna need some public support. Now, ours is different, right, because we're doing it all privately funded. And we're not asking the city or the state to issue bonds or notes. So that's one major difference. And I can't think of another one that's done that lately. But I will tell you that we have seen, I don't think I've seen any community, any ballpark of the 30 in the minor leagues that is 100% privately funded like that. Now, again, it's privately funded, but we're going to be supported with some type of lease or some kind of aid.
That's kind of what I'm looking at.
Yeah.
When we say publicly funded.
Yes.
Or publicly,
Maybe I can answer another way. The average in the 30 AAA stadiums, there's a range of how much private money and how much public money is good in there. Even the ones that are 100% owned by the government. The teams paying rent. The total capital cost, the mortgage debt, say, of a stadium, let's say it's 100%, right? The private teams have put either zero in, and there's one or two of those, and the rest, the bulk of the average is 20 to 30%, low of 20, high of 30% of the annual capital cost.
Can you give me a number? That's on the
Well, yeah, if it's, I'll give you one number. It was $5 million roughly estimated debt service for the project. And we offered to pay $1 million in sublease payments back, and the state was gonna put in $4 million, and so that's 20%, 1 out of 5. Our new proposal will be higher than that probably, and again, we haven't finished the discussion. But no team that I know of pays more than 30%. But we have some ideas to address that as well, which I just can't get into now. But I will tell you, I wish I could tell you more, but I've been asked not to do that, and so I'm going to hold off. Did you have another question, though?
Well, I think a lot of us are here really for that information.
Sorry?
I think a lot of us are here for that information.
Yeah, I know.
What our contribution
There's something that just can't talk about right now, but I'll be back. When it gets public, I'll come back and answer all your questions.
But Jim,
Yeah.
it was good you said $4 million. For how many years?
It'll be a 30-year lease, but now, hold on, let me hear this now. That was on the old deal now, right? Not the new deal. That's the old deal.
It's on the new deal.
Yeah, but I will say this to you, you have to count the tax revenue that we generate, new state tax revenues. And that's, our consultant said it's $2.4 million a year. Now, the Civic Center, I shouldn't say Civic Center, Dunkin' Donuts Center, I think this week released their economic report about what taxes they generated. They drew about 600,000 people, I'm told, which is probably less than we're going to draw. We're going to draw closer to 1 million. They estimated they produced, I think it was 3.9 million in state taxes. And our consultant, to be conservative, he estimated 2.4 to be conservative. I think our number is conservative, 2.4. But I'm just saying that's what we said. You could offset it. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. Let's wait. We can unveil, hopefully, the whole package. And then you can make your own decisions. Whether, yeah, I think it's a good deal. No, I don't think it's a good deal.
Right behind you, to the left,
Be in the
Jim.
driver's seat.
Jim, right here to the left.
Wait a minute, it was him. It was him.
Take it first.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay.
So I'm Chase. So I'm not going to pretend to be an economist, right? So I don't feel comfortable discussing like a lot of different numbers and throwing out percentages because at the end of the day, unless we got spreadsheets and a report, right? But here's something I am curious about.
Yeah.
How will this stadium, building this stadium, sort of impact the economic opportunity in these communities, i.e. Mount Hope, i.e. on the south side?
Sure.
So we have a ton of minority contractors that live within this community,
Yeah.
and this is a sort of project that I assume once you get sort of cranked in the air that they could work on.
Yes.
For me, I think it's more so thinking about how we can position once a deal, because obviously in the middle of negotiations, you feel strongly enough about negotiations that you're gonna meet with people ahead of time, before the negotiations are done, to sort of drum up support or whatever, and then afterwards.
Have a conversation like this.
Fine, right. And at the end of the day, though, for me, I'd be a lot more interested once whatever gets done and moves through or whatever, how you're gonna make sure that everybody within these different communities are able to participate in the construction, in the jobs, because that's really the impact on the community, right? Because we know that a dollar earned on the south side is going to be spent on the south side, versus you hiring contractors from X, Y, and Z place out of the city. Right?
Let me say this to you. That is part of our conversations with the state, and I'm guessing, because we haven't completed them, but I'm guessing it'll be treated like the same requirements for minority contractors and so forth as state projects would be. So I would envision this wouldn't be any different from a state project in that regard. In terms of answering your question about what are the real numbers and so forth, I promise you I'll come back once we have an announcement, and we'll sit here again, and then I can talk to you about the numbers, and you can decide whether you like it. Yes, sir, you've been patient. I'm sorry. Yeah, you've been more than patient.
One of my primary questions was with regard to the actual space of the facility itself. And I wasn't going to get into all of the economics and the CBA. You don't need to get into the cost-benefit analysis to me or any of that. I wanted to know, approximately, one, how large is this stadium as far as seating is concerned?
Sure.
B, with regard to all of the exterior and interior spaces, what other types of venues, events type things are you talking about? Are you talking about like weddings, you know, exterior stuff, like with regard to your microbrewery? Who would you be bringing in? People like Sam Adams out of Boston, keeping it regionally local as far as the northeast sector and things like that?
Well, let me, if I forget one of your questions, just come right back to me. First of all, what was the first part of the question?
First question was approximately how large this is.
Size. It's a, you know, if you've been to Fenway Park, or you've been to McCoy, it looks huge, and it is huge. Fenway Park's huge. This is a minor league ballpark. McCoy's a minor league ballpark, but it's bulky. This is not a bulky ballpark. This is the new design. This is state of the art. It's only 50 feet high. The top row, they're only going to have roughly 20 rows. From the last row to the first row is about 20 rows. So you're all going to be close to the action. And it's going to be, the first row is right down by the grass. It'll have 10,000 for baseball. It'll have about somewhere between 7,500 and 8,000 fixed seats. The rest will be standing and bar stools, kind of seats around there. The thing about minor league baseball is people like to kind of walk around. I should point that out to you. People like to walk around in the new ballparks. Could you grab that for me? Thanks. The new ballparks, by the way, people like to walk around, particularly with their kids. And sorry. And there you go. You're going to be able to walk around the ballpark outside.
Okay.
And you're going to be able to walk around the ballpark inside.
Really?
And without missing the action, because you're going to be able to see the action. There's going to be a walkway all around the ballpark.
Okay.
And so 360 degrees. Secondly, you raise another point to me, also apply to your question.
With regard to
open space for a second, we're going to have 3 acres of open space, including this plaza, and the kids' corner. 3 acres. And this was supposed to be a park originally, and we're big on parks. We like parks. We would dedicate those 3 acres so that all the kids could use them and all the families could use them all seasons of the year. And it'll be open space and parks. And our kids' corner with those little ball fields and so forth, that'll also be open for kids. And so it's going to be a park within a park. And that's, I think, kind of cool. And you had something else?
It was with regard to the microbrewery.
The microbrewery, yeah. Well, this is an idea that's just kind of coming up. The teams that I've talked to, they do it themselves. They hire people to make their own beer, and they sell it. And I'm not a great beer drinker, although I kind of like it sometimes. But it's the rage. People really like these microbreweries. So we're going to have like a Red Sox brew or whatever we're going to call ourselves, and it'll be kind of fun, you know. Yeah. Okay. That's your question.
Yeah, they pretty much got them all.
Thank you. Next.
Thank you very much. I've got a couple related questions. Sure. The first one's kind of a follow-up to that one.
Yep.
You've indicated that the stadium's gonna generate a couple $1 million a year
Yep.
in tax revenue.
New tax revenue.
But if I understand that, that means tax revenue from other surrounding businesses like restaurants and
No.
bars and all that?
Oh, well, I should say that, I thought you said something else. No, I'm talking about the tax revenue, it's in our,
Tax revenue is paid by you?
tax impact.
Tax revenue is paid by you or paid by?
No.
Surrounding businesses?
No, but tax revenue is generated by our investment. For example,
Yeah, I mean,
income taxes on our employees and our players. It'll be hotel taxes. We expect a fair number of our people, fans, and we have 72 games. We'll probably have 100 nights where teams each team takes about 30 nights. And yes, several thousand hotel rooms. And there's a tax, that's the occupancy tax and the sales tax. And then there's a sales tax on food. That's also. So the three main taxes that will generate the 2.4 million are income tax, sales tax, and hotel occupancy taxes. Those three taxes alone, I believe, is the 2.4 million that our economic consultant said will be generated. That report is online in full, and you can read it.
so, but a bunch of it is like food taxes from surrounding restaurants that you'll be competing with your new breweries. And
You know something, everybody asks that question. In our experience and in talking to other cities and so forth, they say didn't diminish the restaurant business around the park. It increased it. Didn't diminish it. People will say, well, you're going to be eating and drinking in your park, so therefore all the restaurants around there won't make it. If you go to Charlotte and you go to Durham and you go to Toledo and you go to El Paso, and you ask that question, they say, no.
But just to be clear, the surrounding restaurants will pay taxes and your restaurants won't, right?
No. We don't pay taxes.
You will pay taxes?
No, the tax you're talking about, income taxes, sales taxes, and we haven't finished the negotiations on that, but no team, none of the 27 teams pays any taxes on their property because it's publicly owned. That's number one. The other three do pay a modest tax, but they get subsidies that are way off.
Let me move on.
Yeah, please do.
People have questions. So my biggest question, you've raised a lot of points about how much of your revenue, including all your corporate revenue, is going to go to charities and to your charity that you'll be giving out donations.
I hope they're your charities too.
Yeah, well,
they're not my charities.
But you're going to have essentially a foundation funded by those teams.
Yeah.
I wonder.
Just like the Red Sox do.
And that's very kind of you, but I wonder why it makes sense for the taxpayers to subsidize you guys to make money to give to charities that you choose, rather than the taxpayers' representatives just give the money directly
Sure. Well,
to who they
you
want.
know, that question can come up in every community, all 30 major minor league teams, AAA. They can come up all the time, and people have found that they love the team there because they think it creates jobs, they think it creates economic opportunity. In our case, I hope they say it also creates more charitable giving, but that's a question that's not just applied to us, it applies to all the teams. All I can tell you is there are 4 other communities out there that are saying, we'd love to have you.
Okay, cool. And that's all. So my final question really is the whole deal you're putting together is an implication of a substantial financial contribution of some kind from the public, from the state and the city.
Mm-hmm.
And it's undefined, and I respect that for now.
Yeah, I can't tell you.
That's okay. But
I appreciate you respecting that.
for the land you're getting,
Yes.
I assume you're asking for it to be given to you, or you're going to be paying full retail for it?
That's part of the negotiation. Stop. I did make this public once. We're buying the land.
Okay, so I
Up
hope,
front.
I hope they're getting,
Fair market value.
okay. Well, that's important because the taxpayers paid $600 million to free up that land.
No.
Yeah, that whole area.
600 million? Where'd you get that? I never heard that number.
That's between federal and state taxes, that's what it costs to relocate the highway and open up that knowledge system.
Relocating the highway is not that. That's not true. It's what did the state pay for the land? They had to buy the land back from the federal government.
But the
It wasn't
federal
600.
government's our money too. It's all our money. It's, I mean, you put it there.
With all due respect, it's all your money, and all those are like 30 teams.
So, and that's.
That's all your money too, it's federal.
That's the final thing. You keep comparing this deal to 30 other baseball teams.
That's the market.
Well, that's your market. As taxpayers, we have to compare it to what all the other possible things we could spend our money on.
Absolutely.
Fixing the streets out here that are full
Sure.
of potholes.
Absolutely.
Improving the schools. There's other uses for the money.
Absolutely right, and that's the same rights and privileges that all those other 29 cities have. They make the same judgment, they make judgments, and they said they think it's worth public support, and they like their team, and they keep them there. But listen, I understand people may not agree with us. They say, you know, it's very nice of you to do all that, but we'd rather have an open park there. I said, fine. I mean, if that's the will of the people, that's the will of the people.
So I think what we'd all probably agree to is do the exact same deal you have in Pawtucket with whoever you have that deal with, and nothing more. And leave the team wherever you want it to.
I don't know if I agree with that, because I don't know what the deal was in Pawtucket.
He explained it earlier.
Yeah, but there are other nuances to that, so I don't know about it.
By the way, I'll accept that offer right now. Done. Let's shake hands. Done.
It's a good thing he's not speaking for all of us, huh?
Give us a stadium, and we pay $32,000 a rent, and they built it for them. Do it, we'll do it today.
No.
It was built, it's a deal. Kentucky, that's all we pay, it's $32,000. I think $34 this year. $2,000.
And the state built it for you?
It's 72 years old, it was built by Pawtucket 70 years ago for a lot of horse racing, and baseball, and football. But I will tell you this, that's what's happening in other states and jurisdictions. I can tell you this, it is not uncommon, you want to know what the market is for these teams? It's not uncommon for a city to say, come to us, we'll bill you the ball field, you'll pay $32,000, some people say pay no taxes, not taxes, no rent, and because we want you in the community, because we think you're going to add economic energy and promise to a future. That's the market. Now, you may say, well, I don't agree with that market. Well, it's the market. I can't yes, I'm sorry.
I'm wondering where I've been to the stadium in Pawtucket, and there's a lot of parking.
Yes, there is.
Where's the parking for this place in the middle of Providence?
Good question.
Yeah.
Good question. Because that's come up a lot, actually, and I want to explain it. In Pawtucket,
That isn't looking like.
by the way,
Yeah.
there are, I think there's 300 or 400 spaces around the ballpark, and I don't think we charge anybody to park there. But we have many more cars than 300 or 400. We have a lot across the street, down the street a bit, we should charge, I think, $2 to park there. And then there's a lot of lots, or not a lot, but many, with using driveways and so forth, with $9, $10 to park there. So let's talk about this part.
That's not true. Let's not lie about it. Yeah, we've gone to Pawtucket for 15 years. We've never paid a dime for parking, and we've never paid a dime for parking in Pawtucket.
Okay, we're going to be respectful.
Tell us the truth.
We're going to be respectful.
No, sir.
Yeah, but you're not telling us the truth.
Yes, sir. I'm trying to tell you the truth. And if I'm wrong, you help me.
Yeah, we've been going for 15 years. We've been going for 15 years, and we've never paid a dime for parking.
All I can tell you is, we own the team, and we know what people pay. We charge $2 to park across the street. There are people right in front of us that charge $9 or $10 for their driveway. We have 400. You want to have a conversation, or would you?
No, you're not telling the truth. You're not telling the truth. We've gone for 15 years. We've never paid a dime for parking.
Well, good for you, and I hope you come back for another 15 years, and I hope you don't pay parking. I do too. But let me say this here. The question was, what is going to be the parking? Not in Pawtucket. What's going to be the parking in Providence? That was the question. Let's get back to the question.
All right.
Now, we did a survey,
Yeah.
and we found the survey, VHB conducted it, and there are 12,800 spaces off-street currently available within a 10-minute walk of this site. 12,800 spaces. There are, across the street from us, the state is promising to build a 1,200 car garage, which is directly across the street from this park. Next to us, on that site, not us, that site, if you ever get it, next to that site, right next to it, a 1-minute walk, is a new 650 car garage that is being built in conjunction with the restoration of the power plant where the nursery school is going to be and where Brown Administrative Office is going to be. they're gonna be emptying those spaces out at night when we play our games, and they don't use them in the weekend when we play our games. So, and on top of everything I just said to you, all I just said to you, there are 1,200 spaces on the street within a 10-minute walk of this, the metered parking, and that's for free after 5 o'clock or the most part. So, we think there's enough parking in the immediate area and being planned. And let me say one other thing to you, because this goes back to the gentleman who talked about Pawtucket. There'll be a lot less cars coming to our ballpark than they are in Pawtucket, because frankly, you can't get to Pawtucket's ballpark with public transportation. You can't take a train, you can't take a bus. I guess you can take a taxi, but that'd be pretty expensive. And so everybody who goes to everybody goes to McCoy is driving for the most part. And very few people walk from the neighborhood, very few. Here, I think it's just the opposite. I think there'd be thousands of people. I think people will walk from here to the ballpark. I think there'd be people walking from Fox Point to the ballpark. I think there'd be people walking who are living downtown. I spoke last night or 2 nights ago at the Jewelry District, where a lot of people live down by the Jewelry District. And last night I spoke to a bunch of artists and engineers who live in the center of the downtown, and they said, yeah, it's 2 blocks away or 4 blocks away. So we think there'll be less cars bringing fans to our games. And all I can tell you is we're talking as part of the state's competition. When they build a Garrahy garage, would they do for us what they do in Newport, which is like, $1 a night parking if you're going to an event of the state. And so we think there's an ample opportunity to park down there.
Jim, you had another question.
Yes.
You had the question, right?
That answered it, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, this lady.
Yes.
I have a question in reference to the decision making of whether this Wallace Park is going to be built or not.
Yes.
And correct me if I'm wrong, I think you said the General Assembly and the City
Council
will be making that final decision?
They'll each make decisions that will be necessary.
Okay, when you say that will be necessary in terms of whether it's going to be
Yes.
built? So, in other words, the public will have no vote or anything, yay, nay?
No, there'll be no referendum, that's what you mean, there'll be no referendum. There'll be opportunities for the public to voice their opinions at these hearings.
Okay. So, I see the public is in a losing position, but that's me, that's just my
No problem.
opinion. My other concern is, as the young man mentioned up front about minority contractors.
Yes.
So often, and I must say in the state of Rhode Island,
Right.
when buildings of the size that you are talking about, or even smaller,
Right.
when contracts go out, you can ride by and the minorities you can count on one hand.
Right.
So, with the plans that you have,
Yeah.
I'm hoping that there will be a huge consideration for hiring minorities to assist with the building.
Sure.
Or the plans
Sure.
that you have that there are minorities included. Because it's really pathetic with the number of people, not only on the east side, but there are minorities out there who are very, very capable of helping to build the buildings that are.
Well, I hope they have the opportunity to build our building.
Yeah, I'm saying their capability is
Sure.
there, but you don't see them.
Sure.
They're not out there.
Yeah. Well, I will say that it's been discussed with the state, and I've said to them we'd be happy to abide by whatever the state. They have minimum set-asides for minority, but I can tell you this: we'll be happy to have more conversation with you about it. But it's the state that we're trying to abide by the state regulations.
Would it be a bidding?
Pardon?
Would you have to bid on it?
I think they'll be bidding in the general there'll be a general contractor. It'll be Gilbane, and they'll have subcontractors. That's for the.
It'll be Gilbane already
Yes, we hired them.
to do the work?
Yes. We had the cost estimates.
So, and they'll do the job, so it won't go out to bid.
No, the construction management doesn't go out to bid. we had bids among ourselves, 4 or 5 companies. We selected Gilbane as the construction manager, but all the subs are bid. All the
Gilbane
subs
is
are bid.
first thing parties behind.
And it'll be union project,
Well,
just like any other state project. I'm sorry.
one of the things you mentioned about the state guidelines for minority contractors,
Yeah.
there is correct, there is a 10% set aside.
Yeah, right.
But the problem is it's not enforced.
It
So
isn't?
what- It's not enforced.
Right.
Actually, minority contracting is less than 1% of contracts, state contract, and I'm a business owner.
Yeah, let me
I
tell you
can
something.
tell you.
I can tell you this. I don't know, I don't know that, but I will do everything I can to make sure that we give maximum opportunity for minority contractors. And have you worked with Gilbane at all?
Yeah.
Do they meet the 10% requirements?
There's no contractor in the state of Rhode Island that, if it's listed and it's enforced, they'll meet it.
Yeah.
But if it's not enforced, which it's not most of the time,
Right.
I've even been to bid proposals with the state, and the question would come up, and they said, well, do your best, is kind of the statement, and then nothing.
We'll talk.
I know that Lisa Ranglin from the Rhode Island Black Business Association will
Sure.
be coming to one of these and
Sure.
bring it up to her too.
Let's talk to, but let me, Sid McKenna's here. Give her your name and number, and if we get to the stage, if we're fortunate enough to get to the stage of building, let's have more dialogue. I share your objective to try to get maximum minority participation. I promise you that.
There are organizations, you mentioned Lisa Ranglin, but there are other organizations that you may want to tap into to
Sure.
see if they can give you some feedback as to, names that they can
Sure.
suggest as well.
We have a website, by the way, if you have a computer, Baseball Rhode Island, and you can, all our stuff is on there, including the economic impact statement. But if you have, and you can also email us there, or on
It's
Facebook.
all here, and we have some backpacks and some t-shirts that you free take.
So, contact us freely, call Sid also. I would like to see maximum opportunity for minority contractors. I didn't realize the state had like 1%, I thought it was 10.
No, 10 is set aside,
Yeah.
less than 1, closer to 50.
Sure.
0.50 is the actual number.
I'll ask Gilbane about
The
that.
province has even less.
Yeah, really?
But they might tell you what you want to hear.
And the times that there are contracts, a lot of times minority businesses are asked to do the work for less than what market value is.
Right. By the way, I told you I'm committed to help you, but I will say this to you. We still have 300 jobs or more that we're giving preference to Providence residents. And I think, we'll stand on our record and see if you honor our word.
Well, can I just piggyback off of that? It is what it is. I think it'd be great. However, when it comes to the contract versus the 300 jobs, we hear this all the time. This is what we get, We get people who want to pass their agenda, and they come in a community, and they have these talks, they promise, they say this, they say that, and then they leave.
Well, I'm not leaving. We build a ballpark here. I'm a lifelong resident. I'm not leaving. I work downtown.
Yeah, but once it's done, it's
You can
done.
get me anytime you want. Call Sid. We're accessible. Listen, we're in this community, not just this community, all over the place.
Exactly.
I'm just here to tell a story about what we'd like to do, share a dream. And hopefully, we're gonna be successful. But if we're not successful, because we don't get it.
He is speaking. Please be fair. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Well, thank you, I appreciate it too.
So we're gonna be here, and we're gonna try to honor our word. And if you think we're not honoring, you tell me personally. Because we're here to honor our word, and we're gonna do that. We live in the community too. This is gonna be a Rhode Island project. Let me say this to you. If this was just about, money, making a profit on a team, we wouldn't be doing it here. Because the offers that are coming in are far more lucrative. But we're interested in our state. We're interested in jobs for our people. We're interested in jobs that will stay here. We're interested in keeping AAA baseball, the only one in New England, in Rhode Island. I love kids' charities. I've seen what happens up in Fenway Park. Most of those charities are in the greater Boston area. But you know what we did do? Last month, we gave $30,000 to the Pawtucket Boys and Girls Club. I don't know if you remember that. You remember that?
I know where it is.
Hey, remember that? That's a really cool facility. They just had a big expansion.
Oh, yeah.
They serve 300 dinners every night for teenagers virtually, who are coming in, and they have places they can study there as well. Many of them out of Central Falls, so I'm told. And we contributed $30,000, the Red Sox Foundation did. I think that was our second year for that. Those are the kind of things that I like to do. Those are the kind of things that I want to help. Now, we have a Boys and Girls Club down here in Providence. I have not visited it in a long time. Actually, I played basketball for years.
And you also have the Salvation Army, which is doing great things for kids in the
Yeah,
community.
that's another one. Yeah, so anyhow, these are, by the way, help us with identifying places like Salvation Army. Bring it to our attention. Remind us about it. We'll do what we can.
I just think one of the things that she said, because our kids are our foundation, and I wanted to see this project be connected to high school. So once kids come out of high school, that they have something to do. Because we sometimes tend to lose a lot of kids to the street because we don't have outlets or jobs, things for them to do. And I think if you want this proposal, you want our city to change, I think that we need to start with finding a way to connect the park to the schools, to getting kids involved in this. So I just, that was something that she mentioned, and
that's a good point.
I think that's...
I share your passion when you say kids are our foundation. They really are. It's the future. And frankly, there's not enough employment opportunities. Years ago, when I was much younger, there was a lot of federal and state programs for summer employment for kids. They've been cashed aside because the government's had trouble, staying out of trouble with deficits. This is different. This is private, and we're gonna employ 300, hopefully more, people in our community, and this is really needed. There's no, I'll bet you there's not many. The state and the city used to have great summer programs for kids, jobs. They don't have them anymore. This is one step in the right direction. And by the way, it's not just our jobs, because if we build this here, and we bring 1 million people into our, this is our goal. There's going to be more restaurants, there's going to be more bars, there's going to be more shops, there's going to be other businesses, and that's more employment. So it's not just our employment; it's everybody's employment.
And we're always young.
I think it's a spark plug. That's what I'm trying to say. I think it's a spark plug. It's so rare to go to a great city and not have a team you can fall in love with, a sports team.
I agree.
Sports is something that brings people together. You play together, you respect each other, you try to win, and if you lose together. If you win together. That's what this project is. I don't want to lose with you. I want to win. I want to bring this ballpark here. I want to make a difference. I want to make a difference to everybody. By the way, is this ballpark a miracle panacea that's going to cure all ills? No. But it's a step in the right direction. And when you talk to the 300 people that are going to be working for us down here, they're going to be saying, yeah, I'm glad you came. I'm glad you stuck it out. And that's what I'm trying to do. But I need support from everybody to do that. So anyhow.
So that's a great way to wrap it up. We said we stay till 7:30. I know people are anxious to get home.
If you have other questions,
Please contact us.
my voice is kind of going on me, but I'll be happy to answer privately any question you have for a couple more minutes. But thank you so much for taking the time this beautiful day to leave your homes to be here with me. I hope you like what I had to say. I hope you like, more importantly, you like my ballpark. And I hope you'll think about it. I ask your support, and by the way, when the deal gets public, I'll come back again, and we'll talk about the details I couldn't talk about tonight. Is that fair? All right, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you.